Okay, so differentiate the following function, f of x equals x squared plus 1 to the power of 6 times by 2x minus 7 to the power of 5. So the first thing that we need to notice here is that we have two functions being multiplied together. So I have function 1 here, and I have function 2 here. As soon as we have the multiplying, then we know that I'm going to have to use my product rule. So my product rule says, in simplest terms, I want to take the first one. So we're going to write down the first one, and we're going to change nothing to it. And I want to multiply that by the derivative of the second one. Well, that's when we run into our second rule. So because we have a function within a function, we have that composite function, we need to use chain rule. So chain rule states that I need to bring this 5 down in front and use my power rule. So we're going to bring the 5 down in front. We're going to keep everything inside the same. And we're going to take 1 away from the exponent. So that's going to be to the 4. And then to complete the chain rule, we need to take the derivative of the inside. So the derivative of 2x minus 7, well, the derivative of 2x is 2, and the derivative of negative 7 is 0. So it's just 2. Product rule says we then need to add. And now we want to do the second, keep the second the same, change absolutely nothing. And we want to times that by the derivative of the first. So again, we have that composite function, so we're going to have to use our chain rule. So we're going to bring the 6 down, go x squared plus 1. Remember, chain rule, we don't change anything in the beginning. So to take 1 away, so power 5 times the derivative of the inside. The derivative of x squared is 2x, and the derivative of 1 is 0. So now we want to start simplifying this. Well, the first way to start simplifying this is to kind of group our monomials together. So on this side, I'm going to go 5 times by 2. So we can get the new equation. So 5 times by 2 gives me 10 out front. Then I still have x squared plus 1 to the power. Oops, sorry, I was supposed to change color there. X squared plus 1 to the power of 6. And we still have the 2x minus 7 to the power of 4. So now we're going to do that same thing on the other side. We're going to find our monomials. So 1 is a 6, and we have a 2x. So on this side, I have 12x. And then we're going to just keep everything else the same. So I have an x squared plus 1 to the 5. So because this is multiplying, it doesn't matter what order I write these in. So it doesn't matter that I've kind of switched things around here. I'm just doing that so that we can see the factoring a little bit easier when we get to that step. Minus 7 to the power of 5. So now we have common things between both terms. So we're going to want to factor those common things out. So first, looking at because I have it color-coded here, looking at the first of each factor, which is in green. So common between 10 and 12x, well, we can take out a 2. So I'm going to factor out a 2 out of both of those terms. And because I have a x squared plus 1 to the power of 6 on one side, power of 5 on the other side, or the other term, we can only take out we can only take out 5 of those because there's not enough to take out all 6. So we're going to go x squared plus 1, and we can take out 5 copies of that. Now I have 4 copies of 2x minus 7, but I have 5 copies here, so the largest amount I can take out is 4 copies. So once we have those factored out, so I went 10, factored out a 2, so I'm left with 5. I factored out 5 copies of this, so I'm left with 1 copy. And I factored out all 4 copies of those. So that's all I'm left with here on this left side. Then we put my plus sign back in there. Well, I had 12x, I factored out a 2, So I am left with 6x, x squared plus 1. I had 5 copies. I factored all 5 copies out, so there's nothing left. 2x minus 7, I have 5 copies, but I factored out 4 of them. So I'm left with 1 copy of 2x minus 7. And then we just got to simplify what's in that last bracket there. So our final answer of x squared plus 1 to the 5, 2x minus 7 to the 4. And this guy can be simplified. So here I have a 5x squared. Here I have a 12x squared. So I have 17x squared. I have a 6x times a negative 7, so I have negative 42x. And on this side, I have a plus 5. And there we have it. That is our completely simplified derivative of x squared plus 1 to the power of 6 times by 2x minus 7 to the power of 5.